Season 3 of The Mandalorian is now complete. It's all over. It's done. But the question is, was this a good season? Now, obviously, spoilers ahead. I will not be running down everything that happens in these last two episodes, but I will be mentioning things that are considered obvious spoilers. So, just a warning, and if you are looking for someone to run down exactly what happens in this episode, this is not the video for you. I will also only be talking about the last two episodes of the show because anything that happens in these last two episodes, all that there is to talk about is things that happen in these two episodes. Nothing that happens in previous episodes really matters when it comes to these last two. So that's why I'm only going to be talking about these two. But if you would like my overall opinion on this season, I would say it was kind of mid. Definitely wasn't better than the first or second season, but there are definitely a lot of positives I liked about it, but also a lot of negatives. So I think it's unanimous that the second to last episode really got people hooked more into this season. A lot of people weren't talking too positively about it, not necessarily saying it's the worst, but not the best by any means. And the second to last episode, I think, really hooked people in. It brought in a lot of questions, and honestly, just overall was a great episode. Now, things that a lot of people started to question was okay, one, Moff Gideon, what was he cloning? Two, his armor, he had the horns. Does that mean he supported Maul and his rule over Mandalore? Maybe he was cloning Maul. Who is the second spy? The title of the second to last episode was The Spies, referring to two spies, and obviously the first one is a given. But who was the second one? Will Thrawn show up? Is he gonna have any part to do with this final episode? What will the post-credit scene be? All these questions, and I'd say only one of them got answered. And that was what was Moff Gideon cloning. He was cloning himself. He wanted to make the best version of himself, which I did see people theorize that that was the case, that he was trying to gain force powers and he was trying to make the best version of himself, which isn't the worst of theories and things to assume. I also saw somewhere that his army, his troopers were clones of him, which that was quickly shut down when Moff Gideon said that Mando killed the clones before they could even take their first breath, so it's safe to assume that the troopers were not clones of him. But outside of now knowing that that is what he was cloning, was himself, and that's what his plan was all along, that he was trying to make the most perfect, overpowered version of himself, got that answered. That's cool. Great to know. But everything else wasn't answered. No, there was no other spy. We never really found any backstory between or why he had the horns on his helmet, and Thrawn had nothing to do with this final episode. On top of the fact that there was no post-credit scene, there was a lot of what ifs and things to potentially look forward to, and I feel as though we didn't get anything. There was no surprises, and I think that this is the only season that there is no big surprise at the end. Obviously, with the first season, the Darksaber was the big surprise, and the second season, Luke showing up and taking Grogu was the big surprise. This finale had no surprise, and it had kind of, it just didn't feel like a finale, basically, is what I'm saying. And I don't necessarily mean that every finale has to have some huge fan service ending to really make it good. But, I think that there was a lot of potential and a lot of things that were kind of set up and potentially set up that could have been thrown at us. And I think even just a simple post credit scene of Thrawn or some sort of giant Imperial fleet or just something along those lines, I think would have really done wonders. Now, don't get me wrong, I think there are a lot of positives about this episode. I thought the dogfight with the Mandalorians and the commandos in the air was super sick. I thought that was a great scene, straight out the Clone Wars, it seemed like. I thought that, Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon's fight was pretty cool to watch. I didn't like that the Darksaber got destroyed. I guess it kind of just puts a thumbtack in the Darksaber conflict and ends that. But there's a lot of good things I liked about this episode. And truthfully, if it wasn't the season finale, I think I would have liked it a lot more. Or if there was a lot more going for it, like if something bigger happened. But I feel as though that, yes, there was potential of the Mandalorians to fail. But I think it was safe to assume that Mandalore was going to be retaken by the Mandalorians. And it's great to see, and I think it's super dope to see Mandalore back in the picture, united all back together. But I just feel as though that was just too easy to assume. And the fact that nothing crazy or surprising happened, I think really puts a dent in the positivity that I could feel towards this episode. Again, I think it was good, but the lack of surprise and the lack of big things happening, I think truthfully is what takes me out of liking it just a little bit. I wouldn't say I didn't like it because I definitely did like these last two episodes, but for a Mandalorian finale, I think it was a little bit of a letdown. But once again, to bring it back to the positives, I think it is a great positive that it seems as though that Grogu and Din Djarin are gonna return back to their normal ways, exploring the galaxy, doing bounties, and I think their new connection with the New Republic and fighting Imperial remnants is going to really tie us into Thrawn's return. So I think that this next season could actually be pretty cool. And you know what? I think I am definitely looking forward to it. I think overall with this, recent season, I just kind of lost my interest with The Mandalorian, especially with the Ahsoka trailer coming out and seeing how great that looks. Not saying that it's going to be amazing or anything like that, but by the trailer, it does look pretty promising, and I am excited about that. But anyways, enough of my rambling. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. How did you feel about this overall season? How did you feel about the finale? What did you like? What did you not like? Whatever you have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, sub, it does truly mean a lot, and I'll catch you guys next time. I'll see you.